dealing with limiting beliefs. All right, so I have some limiting beliefs. I got a new audio device, and it doesn't match Windows 10, and there's no way to make it happen. Like, I was like looking at assembler code. Not that that matters. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how to identify your limiting beliefs so that we can handle them later in our limiting belief series. So what is a limiting belief? Well, all beliefs in general are limiting. Limits are good because they give you some structural framework and they cut off a lot of options that would otherwise create a whole bunch of chaos. A lot of people, they will find beliefs that serve them and saying, okay, I'm going to stay out of, social drama or getting caught up in bad situations where I don't want to hang out with these people or in these environments by just avoiding people with these types of micro-expressions, right? So you get somebody who's like really shifty and they don't look particularly trustworthy, and then you kind of thin slice it and you say, okay, well, I'm just not going to go have any intimacy with this person, and then I don't have to get caught up in all the other bullshit, right? And that's a limiting belief, right? You take this belief, it's like, this person is not going to be good for my social welfare, and I'm not going to hang out with them. You limit your options in hanging out, and then it keeps you on track. Well, most of these beliefs are limiting, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you're not achieving your goals because of a belief system that keeps you from enacting the behavior that's going to make you move forward. Like, for instance, when I first started doing YouTube, I was very scared that talking on camera was going to make me look like an idiot. Later on I realized that there are times where I look like an idiot and there are times where I don't, and that's really not up to me. So, whatever. But what I would do is I would feel like, okay, this isn't good enough, so I'm not going to release it. And not even that, I just wouldn't even shoot it. I'd be like, all right, well, if I can't get the script good enough, I'm not going to shoot the video, and then the video never goes out, and then I never get practice shooting it, and then I never get better at talking on camera, right? So that was a limiting belief that stopped my behavior, that kept me from getting forward to my goals. You have to change those, because those beliefs will keep you from moving forward. They'll keep you at your status quo, or they'll even keep you sliding backwards into safety, and then you won't be pushing out of your comfort zones and growing and developing and maturing as a human in social space. So today's exercise is, we're going to give you a thought exercise that will allow you to identify your limiting beliefs, because there is a lot of times we're not even aware of how our current belief systems are structured. They come from trauma, they come from early childhood, they come from our caretakers, and they just sort of run unconsciously as we move forward through life. They just make decisions for us. Couple of examples, like my mom was definitely afraid of bees. She was anaphylactic, right? So she would walk out and she would have these, she'd flip out around bees. And so as I was growing up, I learned to be afraid of bees as well and developed a sort of phobia to them. And bees aren't inherently bad, but it would keep me from like going camping, right? I would not go because I would think there'd be bees out there. I don't like nature, right? And then I wouldn't go. And then I'd miss out on a lot of experiences and the social times with friends and whatever where they were off doing those things. So it was a belief I eventually had to change, and I did it through flooding, which is something we'll deal with later on in the series. But some of those beliefs, I didn't even know why I was afraid of shit. I just fucking flipped out. I just thought that's how it is. And it turns out it was a program that was installed in me at a very, very young age. And sometimes we're not even aware that those things exist. And so we have to identify them before we can root them out and determine whether they're still in the way of our goals, and we need to keep them around, or we need to eradicate them or replace them with better belief systems. So the exercise is this. I want you to imagine your ideal scenario. Well, the guy I walked through this last week was, he wanted to, approach a woman and then have the perfect thing happen where she, looked up and adored him, and, he got the number and she was really excited, and then they met up for a date, right? So I had him visualize this thing. You see her from across the way, you're at the coffee shop, and then you make eye contact and you look away real quick and you come back and she's still looking at you. So you walk up and then you approach and then you say some really intelligent shit, and she giggles and gets kind of shy but is really hopeful that you're going to do something, and you can tell by her body language. And then you ask her for a number and you tell her you're going to take her out or whatever. You see the date and you move forward, right? And so I walked him through this whole visualization, and then the problem is that as you go through your idealized visualization of what you want to have accomplished, there's things that in your mind that that you can do, but you don't end up doing them in real life because a little voice comes up in your head and says, oh no, yeah, but she's gonna leave you anyway, or when she finds out who you really are, you're gonna have a terrible problems with relationships. Why even go, right? And or you're gonna say something stupid, so why even try, right? Those are the beliefs that are coming up from your subconscious that will interrupt your behavior and keep you from moving out of your comfort zone. Those are the things that you need to root out and fix, tweak, so that you can still do the behavior that's going to give you the proper reference experiences to act correctly into the future. So I want you to listen to that voice as you're going through your ideal scenario. It's like, okay, I'm sitting there, and then this guy walks in, and he looks at me, and I look up, and I'm confident as fuck because I'm an independent woman, and he walks over to talk to me, and I'm a little reserved because I don't want to seem too needy or whatever, but he makes the move, and I get the butterflies and whatever. And then what's going to happen is your inner voice is going to say, okay, well, yeah, but all men are trash because whatever comes up, you learn this somewhere and you're employing it subconsciously. What we want to do in this exercise is to bring your subconscious belief systems out to your conscious awareness, and so you write them down. Later on, we can look at those beliefs and see if they're still serving you, and if they're not serving you, we'll tweak them so that they can serve you better. If they are just completely pointless, then we can eradicate them entirely. And if there's some things that are lingering, then you can use some higher level NLP methods to wipe them out of your brain on the subconscious level. So today's exercise is just to run through your ideal scenario, whatever it is, socially, in dating and intimacy or whatever. We've used this successfully for sexual, what's the word? Like not erectile dysfunction, but like sexual anxiety, right? So you get in, when you're naked with somebody new and you're like, I don't know if I can perform well. Like we've used it successfully for that. We've used it successfully for most approach scenarios and dating scenarios. So you just go through the thing and then see what your brain comes up with as an excuse on why you shouldn't make the behavior that you're doing in your ideal scenario. Once you write all those things down, if you learned anything, you had a aha moment, put that shit down in the comments. We'll try to respond to everything, and keep that list with you, because in the next couple weeks we're going to be doing a whole thing on limiting beliefs that's going to allow you to take those belief systems, tweak them, mangle them, using a lot of Robert Dilts stuff, using a lot of Michael Hall? Yeah, Michael Hall's book is phenomenal on reframing those belief systems so that they can serve you. And we'll just kind of carry this on into a longer thing where you can actually tweak those things and fuck up the roadblocks you've got that are inside your subconscious. So that's today's thing, finding out your limiting beliefs, how to establish your limiting beliefs. And tomorrow, I don't know what we're doing. I haven't slept. We're watching the election coverage. It's like ridiculous. So do that thing, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about something, and I'll see you then. Until then, stay awesome.
Light up the past just like a cigarette.